This is the Big MJ debate. I'm Pez Jax,
And I'm Char McLachlan.
and we are back after a long summer break. You may be relieved that we've been gone for so long, or you may have been missing us. I hope it's the latter, but we are back. Wish we could say we were tanned because we're not. It's becoming a thing, right? That we seem to disappear for the whole summer, and then the minute it gets dark and cold outside, we return.
People see the big MJ debate posted and we're just losing subscribers.
I know it's almost like we're becoming akin to the bad weather. So it's like,
Yeah.
right, the sun disappears, the bright, happy summertime goes, and then we come back to
And
ruin
we're
your
back
day.
into our natural habitat.
Moaning and complaining as usual. But this episode, we are going to discuss MJ1 because finally Shah has been to see it.
There's not going to be a lot of moaning and complaining in this at all.
Good. I'm very excited because obviously I've been banging on about MJ1 in
Mm-hmm.
every episode, and I've seen it over the last 10 years or however long it's been on, 11 years. And I love it. And I keep saying, like, when you get to go, when we go, when we go. And then finally, we've been.
Yeah.
So to get to experience it together, I think was a huge highlight for me because now when I say things to you, like like when you walk down the MJ1 corridor, you can be like, yes, yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the whole experience was so exciting. It was so emotional. And obviously, because we were in LA and then we had come to Vegas for one night, I felt like the whole thing was like a whirlwind. So actually getting to MJ1, I was like, oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. And they were just like, I felt like you and Seb were really feeding off of watching me.
We were because like it's so nice when you're with a fan who's experiencing it for the first time
Yeah.
because you remember how you felt when you experienced it, but then you get to almost live vicariously through the other person.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to Michael, when you're so passionate about something, like speaking personally, when you're passionate about Michael, and then you see someone else exhibit the same excitement and passion for him, it's such a like euphoric feeling, right? Because
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
feel it's like we're all in the same boat and
Yeah.
everybody just gets it, and that's what I mean, we've always spoken about this on this channel, that's what I love when you see other people like embracing him and getting excited by him. That makes me excited as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were totally like, we see you, we're like living through you. But we were in LA for about 10 days overall
Hmm.
for Convention LA, which we will cover in a separate episode, and also our trip to LA. But it wouldn't be right to travel all that way across the world without going to see MJ1. So here is a little clip of Shah arriving in the MJ1 corridor for the first time.
Are you getting a reaction? Oh my God, that's what you were waiting on. I've seen this in pictures and videos so many times, so to actually be here is surreal. And I'm so excited.
Somebody help this woman. What was that like? What's that like for you when you get down that corridor the first time?
Well, I feel like seeing something that you've only ever seen in pictures or in videos, and I hadn't really been aware of anything that was in the show. So at this point, my excitement is just building because you know what we're like. We love a moan and we love a complain, but I feel like
I don't know what you mean.
as soon as you are there, you're like, they have got this right. Like they have got this right. The big pictures of Michael, a detail I loved was the doors, and it had like it was like a jacket, but there's Michael's items like clothes and shoes. Oh, guys, I'm so.
Oh,
No! It's actually amazing to see this because I've seen it in pictures so many times. That picture, that was on the cover of something. Is it someone's book?
Yes, it's on a few books, and it was also the American Music Awards 1984.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of this jacket so many times, so it's amazing to actually see it. Although, my critical eye, there's a pulled thread on it.
Karen.
Chime.
Tut tut. And obviously, there's the shop, which when we walked in, the lady said to Pez, "You've been in here a good few times."
Don't shame me. But before we get to the show, let's talk about the shop because um, I've been to the shop endless times, and I feel like the range of stuff is just not as good as it used to be.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like when they first opened, I've got pictures somewhere. I'll try and chuck them in. They had so much Michael merchandise.
Yeah.
Like there was that really nice red sweatshirt with Michael and the toes on it. There was like the Invincible design on glasses and shot glasses, and then they had all the replica tour t-shirts, and there was just loads and loads and loads of stuff. Now that's almost been sort of watered down to just kind of show merch, and then well, yeah, that's about it. Just show merch.
Okay. That's
And
interesting.
sorry to cut you off,
Oh,
when we looked at the price of the CDs, I'm sorry, what was it like $45 for a skate?
so can I just point out that at this point, I don't know, like I am not a collector whatsoever, so I have no idea what is good for a CD and what is bad for a CD. So Pez or Seb, I can't remember, picked one up. I think it was Seb that picked it up and he showed you the price and you went, "What?" And I went, "Is that good or bad?"
Well, like all the albums were $25 and Escape was 45, which I don't get.
Okay.
But like when you think I can't think of what the exchange rate is, but $25 is probably like
The
18
twin,
pounds,
yeah, yeah.
18, £20, and $45 is
Yeah, that's
over 30 pound for a 8 track or 7 track CD or whatever it was. It's like, guys, come on. So I thought it was a mistake, and then I looked and
yeah.
all the escapes for 45. So yeah,
That
that one needs addressing.
Well, I had never been to the shop before, so the first thing I would say I was surprised by was the size of it. I thought it was going to be so much smaller, but it's actually pretty big. Um, I was really impressed by the amount of stuff that there was in there. I think the way it was all set up, like the visual merchandising was done so, so well. I mean, we saw lots of things that we loved. And can I just say that my suitcase was already over the weight limit on the way out? So I was like, but I did get some stuff, and
What did you get? Show
so
us.
we had this joke that I'm like a magpie because anything shiny, I just like go for it. So first, I got this cute little pen.
I didn't
It's
even know
like
you bought that.
I love it. It's so cute. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But for right now, it's sitting in this. Then I got like four of these, and it's a keyring, and it's got the glove and the hat. Oh, sorry, the hat, and it's got Michael on it too. And I love this because it's sparkly and I can take it everywhere. So I like that a lot, and I got a good few of those. This was $15. Also, I should have said that this was $10. This pin.
See, I
Ah,
think some of the pricing is quite reasonable.
yeah,
Um, it's only when you add
and
all the tax on.
the program, which I am so impressed with. It's almost like a pop-up book. And this is really heavy. It's got like a sleeve. Oh, can't get it out my big nails. Um, it's got a sleeve. I love this. So, oh, there's more stuff falling out. I loved the shop. The shop was great. It had a lot of things. To be honest, if my suitcase was not over the weight limit already. And we had an even smaller suitcase this time because we were only in Vegas for one night. I probably would have bought more stuff. But worry not, things are available. And I'm really, really excited because when I go back, this means I can get even more things.
Exactly. I mean, this t-shirt was new as well.
Yeah,
This
love
was one of the
this.
new ones. So they have this in purple and in like a kingfisher blue. So I
Mm,
bought both of those. And you know this sparkly jumper. So there's a like a black
yes.
sparkly glittery jumper, and it's got Michael Jackson 1 on the back. The only thing I didn't like about it is it's got a join round the middle. But I that's been there a couple of years, and then I saw Eve, friend of the show, Eve. I saw Eve in it, and I was like, that's a really nice jumper. And she was like, Pez, you've seen this? And I was like, I definitely haven't. And she was like, you have. It's been there for years. So anyway, when I went back, I tried one on and I was like, yeah, Evie's right. This looks hot. So I bought that as well. Um, I think I bought the key ring that you bought because that
Yeah.
was new.
They did have other pins that were like this one. I think the they had the hat as a pin, I think, and I'm pretty sure they had this as a pin
Yeah.
too. Um, what else? Oh, I really dithered back and forth on this bloody gold t-shirt, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
getting it.
that was new that week as well. She said it was new. She might have been lying, but
So it was kind of like we'll have a picture of it surely, but it was kind of like a Michael jacket, and it had across the way like gold kind of strips. I don't know what the right word for that is, but it's really cool. Very Michael, but in a subtle way, which sometimes we love. Sometimes I want like his face and not just the silhouette and not just like a subtle nod. But I do like a subtle merch. And I really dithered back and forth about should I get it, should I not, because Convention had a gold party and I ended up not buying it, but I did regret it. I
oh,
really
you
wished I
did.
did.
I
I did.
didn't ask you about it, but I
I
did
did.
wonder.
Because as soon as we got to Convention Gold Party, I thought, should be wearing that bloody top.
This is why I'm always like, I like to surround myself with people that tell me to buy stuff.
We're bad influences on each other.
This is the thing, like whenever I go with Seb or with Kim, they're always like, "Oh, if you like it, you should get it." And it's like, "Yeah, but I do like it. That's the problem.
That's
I
the
need someone
problem.
to be like, I need someone that works for like Capital One or NatWest or Barclays to
Like,
tell
this
me
is a
no."
bad investment.
Yeah, sorry, your credit card can't handle this. Please pull it back.
What I will say as well is everyone in the shop was really kind and nice. They were all very chatty, wanted to know where we'd come from, if we had seen the show, if we were seeing the show, which was really nice. And they were really helpful too.
So, speaking of seeing the show, we had decided that we wanted to dress up for it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we both bought new outfits, and here's some pictures of us in our outfits. But then we get to the show. We actually decided to leave it a little bit closer to the start time, didn't we? Well, I
Hmm.
don't know if that was intentional. It's just there was so much titting about.
Yeah.
So we get into our tickets get scanned, and we get into the theater. And tell us about it.
Well, we were in the most amazing seats ever, just to start with. And we had each got a Michael themed cocktail. I can't remember what they were called.
There was like the one,
There was the one,
the
was there one called,
glove, something.
was one
Pop
called
royalty.
oh, I was like going down Hollywood Tonight. Was there one called Hollywood Tonight? Or was that a
That
convention
was
one?
that was convention. I'm glad that you remember the convention ones better. The only downside is they used to serve them in MJ themed cups, and they seem to have stopped that.
Uh-huh.
Um,
No, that I would have loved.
yeah, and that also made the experience. Now it's just a cocktail,
A wee plastic cup, although huge, but
but
that's on brand for America.
it, yeah, as every piece of food and drink is huge. But the lobby's so cool, like with the smooth
Oh,
criminal suit in the cabinet.
the smooth
The
criminal suit, I was like analyzing it and I was like, there's a stain on the back.
There's a stain on the pocket as well because he
Yeah.
had like a. You remember them things we had as kids, push pops?
Mm-hmm. Of
He had one of those and he put it in the pocket of the suit during the filming of Smooth
course.
Criminal, and it's got a stain. I have a photo of it somewhere.
Charlotte, how do you feel?
I'm so excited. I cannot believe I'm here. I've heard Pez talk about this for so long, so I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited.
Here we go.
We had booked seats in the kind of middle block, sort of. I think we were a couple of rows back from the front, and we
Yeah.
were right in the middle block. And what I love about MJ1, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure most people are aware of the concept of it by now. Is that the show is almost kind of started when you arrive. So
Yeah.
there's already things going on, and there's music and Michael's voice kind of floating around the theatre. And I love that because immediately you're immersed in, like, the minute you go through those doors, it's like the world of Michael behind the doors.
Yeah.
And I really love that you kind of go in and you've got it, and then it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and then it begins.
Honestly, I don't know what I expected. And to be honest, I knew I was going to love it because Pez and I usually tend to agree on things like this. So if Pez loves it, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
No pressure in the fact that I was like, I think I said to you the day before, what if you absolutely hate it? And I've been hyping this up for a decade and you absolutely hate it. And you're
I,
like, that was shit.
I didn't even consider the fact that I might not like it. Um, but yeah, when it started, which was actually pretty good that you and Seb were there because you were like steering me in the right direction of where to look.
Yeah, I think there is, because there's sometimes so many things that you can miss.
Yeah,
And now that they've redone the show, so I wrote for MJ Vibe about it, that when I was there in the summer, um, we were Kim and I were there to see Shania, and the show MJ1 had been off for 2 weeks, and we weren't
yeah,
planning to see it. And then it just so happens that my friends from New Zealand, who I've known for 15 years and never met in person, Vanessa and Quentin, were actually having like trip of a lifetime across the US. They actually also have like a vlog on it, and it's really cool. And I'll put the link in the description. But they were in Vegas the same week I was going to be there, so it was like chance. And then another friend of mine from Brazil, Maicon, was also in Vegas at the same time. So we all just sort of met up and had a lunch, and it was
that's so
lovely.
good.
And then they both said, like, oh, we're going to the show on Sunday because it's the first day back since the 2 week break. And I was like, oh, we're not. And then one of the ladies who worked in the shop said to me, oh, you know, Jamie King's been here for 2 weeks, like revamping the show. I was like, well, no, I didn't know that, but now I do. Um, and then a bit later on in the day, she messaged me, and I went back to the shop, and she said, the revamped show is going to premiere tonight. I was like, or like tomorrow. It was like very close to the date of
Yeah,
the show. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to need to go. So I bought tickets for the Sunday show, and then got to experience the new show, or the updated version of the show. But that was a really long way to get to my point, which was that there are so many things that you can miss
yeah,
if you're not aware of it. And as much as you kind of want, like, it was difficult because on the one hand, I want you to discover it for yourself. And I did sort of leave you alone as much as I could. But then there are things like sometimes there'll be something coming from the ceiling. And
yeah,
unless you're looking up, you'll miss it. And particularly at the beginning where the cast are kind of involved in everything that's going on,
yeah.
if you're not looking behind you, you'll miss it. So
Yes.
that's why I was kind of like, oh, look over there. Look at
Well,
there. Look at there.
on that point, I do feel like it is certainly the type of show that you need to see more than once because I think this is probably a common theme with any circ show. Things are coming from every direction, and you can't possibly view it all the first time you see it. Like I feel like I absolutely have to see it. It wasn't even over yet, and I was thinking I need to see this again.
So, what did you think? Let's like say maybe three. Like, pick three standout moments if you can.
Okay, okay. First standout, absolute standout moment, Billie Jean. Wow, wow, wow. I love the way that Billie Jean was done. And before MD starts, it is not that I am not a Billie Jean fan. It's just I feel like, come on, we've all got the Michael songs that we're like, okay, I've heard this like more
You
than
know,
ever.
like when Michael said, I think someone asked him about like his favorite work or something. There was one interview and he was like, "Oh, Billie Jean." And I was like, "Mike, come on,
I know,
like, please."
I know.
I get it. It's a phenomenal piece of work. It's like one
Oh,
of the best songs ever made. We get it. But you, as the artist, give me something deep. Give me a who is it? Give me
yeah.
a like, and they don't care. I don't want Billie Jean.
But the way that Billie Jean is done with the lights and the hats and all the light up suits, and I'm pretty sure there's only about 5 or 6 of them that are actually dancing. And it's so dark in there, all you can see. It's just an amazing visual, and I was entranced by that. I think it's because you always see Billie Jean done the same way. Like it's all not that that's bad. It's always like Michael, the hat, the glove, the moonwalk. But seeing Billie Jean done with light up suits and oh wow, and more than one dancer, crazy. I absolutely love Billie Jean.
I think what's cool about Billie Jean as well is that when it starts, it's clips of high quality, I might add, footage from Motown 25 and the tours and
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
merged
Where is it?
together.
Open your
Yeah.
purse.
But what I love about that, and it happens again with other songs in the show, is that they really allow Michael to have his moment.
Yes.
So it's like, of course, Billie Jean, it's like he needs the spotlight and then we'll kind of do our take on it, but this is about him. So instead of trying to recreate him, they're like, just put the video on. Because like as fans, half the time where we're like, I don't know, like, I'm not a big fan of like impersonators and stuff. I'd rather just watch DVD. So many times we're like, just give me him. I just want
Yeah.
him. And so I think they were really smart in those areas where they're like, just give them him. That's what they want.
Also, something that's like a minor detail, but there's obviously a lot of people who go to see MJ1 who aren't major fans. So I feel like the crowd, when they hear Billie Jean, they really kind of come alive again because they're hearing songs that they recognise. Um, so Billie Jean definitely.
Okay.
Going the completely other way, tabloid junkie.
Yeah. With the
Hearing
two bad mixed in as
hearing
well.
hearing tabloid junkie loud, screamed, everyone's dancing, there's shit in every angle. Honest to God, I like teared up. And it wasn't because I was like particularly emotional. It was because I was so excited to hear that played loud. Like I feel like Tabloid Junkie was a song that was intended to be played at 100 decibels. And hearing that, loved it. Just absolutely loved hearing Tabloid Junkie and seeing it kind of celebrated, like seeing them dancing, and then obviously Too Bad is mixed in. Like, come on.
And they're back into Tabloid Junkie,
Oh,
and it's the Ghosts version of Too Bad, so it works.
yeah,
What I love about Tabloid Junkie is, so little fun fact about that. As everybody knows, Michael was obsessed with The Knowledge by Janet.
yeah.
And there's footage of him saying like, I love that song. It just really gets inside of you or whatever. And for years he had challenged people he worked with to come up with a beat that's like The Knowledge. He wanted something like that. And Tabloid Junkie is that. So Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis
Oh,
gave
wow.
him Tabloid Junkie, which is based on The Knowledge by Janet. And now I've said it, if you go and listen to The Knowledge and then you listen to Tabloid Junkie, it's the same kind of
Okay.
rhythm. So that's why for me, like Tabloid Junkie is one of my favorite Michael songs of all time. But
Yeah.
that's why knowing how important it was for him to have a song like The Knowledge and then getting Tabloid Junkie and then having it in the show. And also because it's like a deep cut from the album, getting the public to hear Tabloid Junkie. It's like,
Yes.
yes, you need to hear this. All of you need to
Yeah.
hear this. And it's almost sped up a little bit as well, which makes it like, gives it even more kind of pulse and punch.
Yeah, it's like
I
Tabloid
love it.
Junkie, but on the bad tour.
Where everything is sped up and really fast.
So loved it. And obviously, last but certainly not least, oh my God, that flipping hologram. I swear to God, the way I was ugly crying, it was not a pretty sight. Thank God no cameras were allowed because I knew that there was a hologram, like there was talks of it. I didn't know what it did. I didn't know if it was there for 2 seconds and then gone again. I didn't even know if it moved. And obviously we all know my feelings on the 2014 hologram and how disappointed I was with that. This was like next fucking level. Like I was not disappointed in the slightest. I was amazed. I was amazed. I was so just in awe. I felt like the way it was done, like Michael is like Sparkles and then he appears and then he goes back to being Sparkles again. And it's almost like they're dancing with his energy. And then the energy like goes into the dancers. Oh, it was so
Sorry, the cat just bit me. Get
Loki.
down. I was sitting there, I was like, ow.
Bad boy.
Sorry to cut you mid-flow.
But it was a beautiful tribute and really not what I expected. But I knew I was going to cry at a bloody hologram. I knew that. But I
Well,
didn't expect to love it how I did.
well, let's just talk about that for a minute because I don't really think we've discussed it. No, we did during the
We
escape
did, we
episode. We
did.
discussed the hologram, and as you know, we were not fans of the Slave to the Rhythm hologram
Yeah.
from 2014. I thought it was crap. It was nasty.
And that isn't just us having our moments, by the way. We didn't even know each other back then.
Yeah, we just and funnily enough, like a lot of that production was put together by Cirque for that performance.
Yeah.
So it is weird that it didn't land for me at all. I think the difference with Man in the Mirror in MJ1 and that is that when they did Slave, they were trying to say, without saying, but still trying to say, this is Michael. This is like a performance of Michael Jackson performing a song he never performed. Wow, isn't it amazing? Like, look at
Yeah.
what we can do. And I didn't like that because it was almost marketed as well, like a Michael Jackson experience like no
Mhm.
other. It's like, yeah, literally because it's not him. Whereas Man in the Mirror, it brings, as you say, the essence of him. And when
Mhm.
he's like turning into dust and reappearing and turning into dust, and then there's the transformation at the end. It's all about like his essence and his memory.
Yeah.
And okay, fine, the dancing's off. We know it's Ernest or whoever it was that did it. But it isn't about that in that moment. It's
No.
about Neverland and it's about Man in the Mirror and it's about the way in which him as an entertainer but also a human being kind of continues to inspire
Yeah.
and surrounds people with as you say with energy and with magic and with love and it just works.
Yeah.
It generally genuinely just works in that moment. I think had I seen that and not the slave thing, it would have been like even more. I agree with you. I think that is a highlight. I think having seen the show so many times, that is a highlight for me. I'll say that. Some new highlights I thought were I Just Can't Stop because they have now added him on the Dangerous tour to the screens behind. So before it
Yeah.
wasn't there, but they've
Wow.
just soloed him and he appears on his verses and sings, and that lifts the whole I Just Can't Stop. So I loved that. The Diablo performers to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough,
Yeah.
which is a new addition. So the light up Diablos where they're throwing them and they're spinning them and there's like hundreds of them flying in the air.
So
Bit
cool.
exaggeration.
So cool.
But I kept thinking, like, after I saw it the first time, I kept thinking, well, okay, Diablos, I loved it, but what's the relation? And then I was like, oh yeah, too high to get over, too low to get under. Like you're stuck in the middle. I was like, it makes
I was just like, oh, circus.
yeah. But because I was thinking like, okay, cool, like yeah, Diablo, circus, great. I mean, that used to be a hat trick. So it was like lots
Okay.
of hats, and it was three guys, and it'd have loads of hats that were like in the air, no juggling hats. And then all that block of performers went back to China during COVID, and
Yeah.
they didn't come back, so they had to change it.
Just on a side note here, I do want to say the talent of these performers, the talent of as acrobats, is that right to call them that?
I think there's aerialists, acrobats, dancers. It's a mix, isn't it?
The talent, there was not one dancer, not one person who was off, who was out of time. Are you like disagreeing with that?
No, no, no. I'm completely on board with you. I'm just listening with fascination.
Oh,
I don't want to be like, is that Pez with an opinion again? So
no.
I'm like, no, I agree.
No, I thought you were just anyway. No, there was not one person who was out of time, not one person who's off. Everyone was so immensely talented. It was it was such a joy to watch.
I think I agree. And I think the other, so what did I say? The Diablos was cool.
Yeah,
Stranger in Moscow is incredible with the
yeah,
rain coming
yeah.
down. And the way Michael appears on the screen, I really like.
And another great song to hear so loud and celebrated.
Yes. I think the where the like if I could be nitpicky, I feel like they have fixed Scream and it's much better. It used to
Oh wow,
be
okay.
like an anime of the video and they kind of like blurred Michael and Janet, but they've actually just put video footage in there now. So it's
Nice.
still kind of anime, but it's video footage. So
Nice.
that worked a lot better. Um, I'm still as a right. Okay, let me explain this. As a single solo piece, I like the way you make me feel. I just
Right.
don't really get how it fits into the narrative of the story.
Okay.
It just kind of happens. You're like, oh, right, okay. And it's like, I get it. They have to do the way you make me feel because it's a huge hit, but it just kind
But
of, I always feel that's a bit lost in there.
but you know what I liked about the way you make me feel? The women did the dance.
Yeah.
What a slay! The women did the dance, and we're so used to seeing the men do it, and obviously, like the men are a part of it, but seeing the women do the way you make me feel this, which is kind of, I don't think it's been done before that I remember.
I think why it works as well is because it takes the original video where
Yeah.
Tatiana's very much like he's chasing me,
Mhm.
um, and then like she goes with Latoya and they're going like this and all that, like oh you think you're tough, but what I like about the way it's almost now is it's like the women hold a lot more power in the performance.
Oh, I just loved it, and I was like, "On you go, girls!"
That's
Loved
Scottish
it.
for girls. So when we did our panel discussion for the musical, and the guys were raving about Thriller and like Thriller's a standout, Thriller's amazing. Well, Thriller and MJ1 for me is like equally a standout with the
Yeah,
trampoline
yeah.
and zombies, and they've redone all the costumes now. So the costumes are used to be like these almost like animatronic zombies with like
Oh
lights coming
wow.
out of them. They've changed it now to be more closer to the original short film.
Oh wow.
And I must say this, right? So when I saw it in August when they did the revamp, my one complaint was that they didn't use Thriller HD footage.
Okay.
The Thriller 4K, they kept the old footage and it was really grainy. When we saw it, I think I lent into you and went, it's 4K now.
Yes,
So they have
yes. He
updated
did.
it. So I was like, yes, because I was like, how how is Michael's like one of two short films 4K and you haven't put it in your update? But
I
they've
know.
obviously gone back in and done it because it was 4K. Um, but Thriller, I think, is such a highlight and the way it comes into the audience
Hmm.
and it's all around you. Um, I just like when I see those moments, I think, what would Michael think? Like if he was sat in the audience with these sunglasses on like this, how would he perceive that? And I think he'd love it.
I honestly do. I think Michael would love it. I think he would love the way what it does really well is that it shows Michael and lets Michael have his moments, but also shows how he has inspired people and his impact. And I feel that I don't think Michael would be sitting in his chair. I think he'd be going like this and then standing up and um I honestly really believe that if Michael could see that performance, he would just love it.
And let's be real, those chairs, they have the speakers in behind your head and in front of you, which is
Yeah,
it helps.
crazy.
And they're not that sturdy either if you're rocking, because there was one year, me, Seb, and you remember Melanie, who recently passed away,
Yes.
Melly for Justice. So the three of us were sat in this row on the right hand side. on Michael's birthday, and we were rocking so hard that the whole block of
Oh, the
seats,
whole.
the people on the other end, I don't think they were fans. They just bought tickets,
They
and
must
they
have
were
been like,
literally
fuck.
they're like running bloody cruise ships swinging backwards and forwards. So if you do fancy a little rock back and forth, then just make sure that you're the only one in your row doing it. Otherwise, you might take the entire row out. Was there anything in the show that you didn't particularly like or didn't think worked or
No, there was nothing I thought that didn't work. There's stuff that I feel like I didn't catch because that's the first time I've ever seen a Cirque show. So, I mean, I knew it was kind of all go, but there was so much stuff that I feel like I've probably missed because I've only got two eyes, and I don't feel like I've seen everything from every angle because literally there's something going on in every single small part of the stage. Like you'd notice one person, and then you'd notice someone fucking trampolining in the corner. Then you'd notice someone else, and someone else was doing like body contortions, and it is crazy. Like everyone is doing their own thing, and I feel that to really pick up on the show, I need to see it again. I need to see it again. But honestly, colour everybody shocked. Charlotte's got no complaints.
that's amazing because as I said, I was worried that when you saw it, you might be like, nah. No, I
No,
didn't think that. But I agree. I think that there is so much to see and so many Michaelisms that are sort of hidden in between.
yeah.
Like when the Leave Me Alone rocket comes,
Oh my
and
God.
and what I love is like this is what we've been kind of talking about a lot on this channel, particularly about how we often feel that the fans are forgotten.
Yeah.
And I am putting the credit solely in Cirque's camp for this, not anybody else. But I think, like, when you see the rocket, the family next to us, they were, I mean, they loved it. The family
Yeah.
that were
Oh,
like next to Seb, they were clapping and all sorts. But you knew they didn't know what that rocket is, but we
yeah.
did. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's kind of like those things feel special to us as fans because we're like,
Mhm.
we get the reference. Other people might not, but we get it. And there
Yeah.
was
It's like
so
inside joke.
yes, exactly. And there's so many of those little moments or like little poses or little things that you see that you're like,
Mhm.
that's for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love. Like when you see they don't care and they've got the footage from This Is It of the army like that extends into the horizon.
Yes.
And unless you are 100% know This Is It inside out, you wouldn't get the
You
reference. But
wouldn't
we all got it and
recognize
we're
it.
like, this is it. That's what This Is It. So it's I love the fact that there feels like there's so many things that are for us.
Yeah.
And that
Definitely.
feels nice.
Definitely. I mean, I loved the elements of the show that were only recognizable to like the super fans, if you will. Um, but I also really enjoyed watching other people react.
I should just mention the couple in front of me. They were quite a bit older
Mhm.
and they were from Texas because he had a Texas I'm from Texas t-shirt on it actually said I'm from Texas and they were well she the lady was sobbing for the whole show.
Same queen.
Yeah. And he was just like shaking his head in awe and I was just like it's just like you look around and everybody is
Oh, it
like
just
Michael, 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 Michael.
warms me heart.
um, so like that's why whenever I go, I'm always just so happy in that room and just feel
Yeah.
so at home. And it's probably the well, it is the only show I've ever seen multiple times and just don't get sick of.
Oh, I honestly, I'm becoming that person now. If you have not seen this, please don't deprive yourself of a fabulous experience. It is amazing, and I cannot wait to see it again. I really, honestly, I mean that. And even if I don't know, maybe you're being forced to watch this video by your partner who's a massive Michael fan or your friend or whatever, you'll enjoy it too, babe. You'll enjoy it too.
That's the thing. I think a good a kind of measure of how good it is if you've seen other Cirque shows. So I saw one when I was a lot younger, and then when we first went to Vegas and we saw MJ1, and then on the trip we're like, let's go see another Cirque show. We went to see O. O
Okay.
is up at Bellagio, and it is incredible. It's been on for like 20 years or whatever. It's one of the
Right.
longest running. and it's phenomenal. It's incredible, like the way it's done, and it's all based around water and the staging. Like water
Okay.
appears and then disappears, and people diving from the ceiling and all sorts. Did I have a clue what was going on? Did I fuck? Like, and when I came out and I went to the gift shop, I bought a shot glass. And the guy said to me behind the till, "What did you think of the show?" And I said, "It was great. I had absolutely no idea what was going on." And he went, "Yeah, nobody does." But, and that's the funny thing that it's like, you can still enjoy a show even if you don't know what's happening. The,
Yeah.
the benefit you have with Michael is you can get the story. It's
You're also going to know the music.
I think the perhaps the only bit that might be lost is the Mephisto stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the for anyone that kind of wants a brush up on the story, the idea is that this evil force has taken over the world of Michael's music and videos, and these four characters have to go through this universe where all Michael's videos have been corrupted, and they each take on one of his trademarks. So the hat, the glove, the glasses, and the shoes and socks. And once that Michael guides them through, the spirit of Michael guides them through, and once they earn one of his trademarks, they're able to take on the bad guys in this world. I don't think that's 100% transparent because they say it very quickly at the beginning. They go,
Yeah.
"Newsflash, blah 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 has taken over the world of Michael Jackson's music and videos," and then there's like all these voices going, and now they're throwing drones into the mix. So right at the
Oh
beginning,
my
you got
God,
you got these
the
drones that just fly
drones.
out at you, and it's like, right, I'm meant to be listening to what the storyline is, but I got drones in my face.
See, to be honest, I didn't even pick up on that. I thought it was like in the news today from the strange and weird fact. But like, I actually didn't even click that it was telling the story. But it didn't really matter. Like, I got it. But yeah, I didn't see. There's something I missed already.
Only one little thing that I thought was quite amusing is that one of the screens didn't work on Mephisto, did it?
Oh my God, someone's Bluetooth was not connecting.
And it kept coming up, connect your Bluetooth, connect your Bluetooth. And you could see that whoever the guy in the video box was like,
It
press it, yeah, get it off the screen. And then eventually the screen just went black. And so the thing was moving around, but the screen was black. So that was quite funny to see. That's something obviously I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And then right at the end with the finale, when everybody gets up and all the cast are on stage, and you've got things like the Neverland, the bike, the ice
Yeah.
cream bike from Neverland, like a replica, and the bridge, and Michael, and the logos everywhere. And then right at the end now, when the curtain comes down, and then the little video clip of him with, "Okay, everybody, that's a wrap," which they added
Oh,
in August. I just like it's just like to tie it all up with him at the end
yeah.
is perfect. And when I did see it in August, Jamie King was actually there in the audience, and we were sort of leaving and being ushered out. And I turned and I saw Jamie King, and I thought, "Sod it, I'm going for it." So I kind of ran over to him, and I was like, "Oh my God, like I love this, I love this, I love this, I love what you've done with this." I said, and the bit at the end with "Okay, everybody, that's a wrap," just kind of like ties it all together. And he was like, "Well, it has to finish with Michael, right? It has to be him. Like he's behind everything. It's all about like how he's guided these kids through. It makes sense as if he's like been overseeing the whole thing from the
Yeah.
camera." And I was like, "Yes, exactly." And that's what I love, that kind of thinking behind it. When people apply that sort of thinking, that's the kind of thinking that Michael would apply to his work and go,
Yeah.
"And it was me all along."
Mm.
So I love that. I mean, we stayed until everybody left, didn't we? We were the last people
Of
in
course.
there.
They were
Yeah.
coming in, clearing out the popcorn, and we were still pitting about at the front.
But it was kind of cool to kind of be the last people in there. We were getting our photos in front of the
Yeah.
screen and stuff. But just to kind of take it all in, I think is that
Just
yeah.
just such an experience. And in my case, I've waited so long to see this show and heard so much about it, and going in with, I don't want to say no expectations, because I knew I was going to love it, but not knowing exactly what to expect or how I was going to feel. Oh, I mean, as I said, not a pretty sight. Sobbed, sobbed, sobbed. But it was just so great, and to experience it with Pez and Seb, like, oh, it was
It's
just it
also
was just amazing.
it's also interesting you say, I knew I was going to love it. And I think that's always interesting when it is things like that, isn't it? That it's a weird concept that you know you're going to love something, but you don't know exactly what you're going to love because you
Yeah.
don't know what's in it. Like I felt very much like that about This Is It, not the film, obviously the concert when we got our tickets, and it was kind of
Yeah.
like I know I'm going to love it, but I don't know what it is that I'm
But
going to love because I don't know
yeah.
what's in it. And I feel like MJ1 is very much like that. Like if you know you're going to love it, but you don't quite know what you're going to love, but you know you will.
Yeah. It's just it's just such an experience and it's done so well and the way that Michael is never forgotten throughout the whole thing and it's not about someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like a criticism with the musical is we've always felt that it was about Miles Frost and not really about Michael and nobody's playing him.
Yes.
Nobody's trying to be him. Nobody is. So I actually think that helps moany bitches like us because there's no one to pick apart.
Yeah, I think it's, and this is not criticism of those individuals. They're obviously there to play a
Yeah,
role. But I've always said that I like it when the estate don't try to tell Michael's story.
yeah,
I like the fact that it's not just kind of like, oh well, how can we use Michael's music and videos? Oh well, we'll just tell his story. We'll just
yeah,
do the life story of Michael Jackson, and that's kind of where we're at now with the musical and the biopic and all the rest of it. What I love about MJ1 is that it just shows you how versatile Michael's music and art actually is. The fact
yes,
that you can have people that are swinging from a ceiling and trampolining and flipping and Diablos and all of these different elements work to Michael's music. Like there are some artists where I'm not going to name any artists, but no, sorry, I will. Like if you take
I
someone
was
like
gonna say, when have we cared?
yeah, like if you take someone like Ed Sheeran, his music wouldn't work to a Cirque show because
Yeah,
it's very kind of on the same par as itself, which is probably why his recent albums haven't done very well. But or Adele. This is not a criticism of Adele, but her music is all very kind of on the same par. Could you set it
yeah,
to a maybe you could set it to a ballet, but could you set it to a Cirque show? Probably not. And that's what I love about Michael, that his music is so versatile and there's so many different genres and so many different soundscapes that you can set it to a circus show and it works and it's current and it's fresh. Like there's songs there from the 70s that work in 2024
and
on
just sound
stage.
amazing through the big speakers too.
Exactly. So I think all of those things combined for me, plus as you say, it's not someone playing him, it's the essence of him, it's the elements of him, it's all of the signature trademarks and the little like the hat, it's all the nods to him.
Yeah,
His quotes on the screen. He's
it's
autograph.
funny.
Yeah,
It's funny too, like the gloves going like this and the shoes walking them set. Like it's funny.
and Working Day and Night, where the Billie Jean jacket pops out of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
suitcase and dances. Um, I love all of that more than I think I would ever love just watching somebody go, okay, now I'm going to put on this voice, and now I've got a wig on, and
Mhm.
now I've drawn my nostrils on and all this. And I just think I will always prefer that. And I think actually, like seeing it with you in particular, it really helps because while we've had the musical here since March in the
Yeah,
UK, and we've both sort of been the two that have been like, oh, we're not seeing it, along with Seb.
yeah,
To then be able to have UCMJ1 and be like, it makes me feel more validated to not see the musical because I'm
yeah.
like, I don't need it. I don't need to see it. I don't need it. I've got this, and I'm quite happy to keep having this.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that did make me think about the musical is, I mean, I know the musical and a circus show is totally different, but it did make me think, I wish I could give that the same love because I feel like if we had a place like MJ1 in the UK where we could go and be fans all the time and watch people have these experiences with Michael all the time, I would be so happy. But I mean, for reasons that we've literally stated a million times, and you're all sick of hearing, that the musical isn't that for us, and it's a shame.
Yeah, and I think as well, like what I love about MJ1 is that you are part of that moment. So I've
Yeah.
been there before where there's been hen parties in there and they
Oh.
are singing and they are drinking and they are whooping. And if you go on the
Whoop.
birthday, if you go on the birthday in particular, Michael's birthday, it's very loud in there.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's full of fans. But even when we were there, people were cheering and like singing, and you feel completely immersed in that experience. I think what I love about MJ1 is that the minute you get to that lobby and you go through those doors, the staff are there and they're embracing Michael. They've all got Michael
They will.
uniforms
Oh,
on.
love that.
Um, and they will take your pictures. They will answer your questions. They
Yeah.
are fully embracing of the fact that they have a Michael Jackson production in this theatre. My personal recommendation would be that even though I haven't seen the musical, I would recommend everybody just see MJ1. It depends what you're into, but for me, I just rate that so highly. I always have, and I will continue to, because I think it is the embodiment and the essence of him as an artist and a creator, and it gets the message across. Like when you take "They Don't Care About Us," for example, and they've updated it to include modern day messages about the
Yeah.
pandemic, about Black Lives Matter, um, about the economy. I think this is the legacy of this song. This is where it's meant to
Hmm.
go. This is how it's meant to be seen. And it just it's it's an evergreen show. It
Oh.
works in all times and all climates. So I'm glad as well that it's been renewed for another 5 years. So
Woohoo!
we have time to keep going back. And if we do go back to the US for another event, then we'll probably have to pop over to
Don't say
Vegas again.
that. Your DMs are gonna go nuts.
Then we'll definitely have to go back to Vegas and see it. Um, Final thoughts out of 10, like final thoughts.
Out of 10, 11. I just honestly, I can't. I feel like since I've seen it, I've really, really, really struggled to find the right words to just express how much I love the performance. Um, I think when something is built up for so long, there's always like an
That wouldn't be anything
element.
to do with me.
Oh no. um, there's always an element of like, could this ever really live up? Because it's been so hyped. Honestly, it extended, it went past what I thought it was going to do to me. I can't rant and rave about this show enough. And if anyone is sitting there like, oh, I really want to see it, but don't know, like I don't know when I'm gonna get to go, or please make the time. Please go and see the show because you will leave feeling moved. I left and I felt moved by the whole thing.
So if we do go back next year and anyone would like to join us on that trip, once we know when we're
Yeah.
going, we can make a whole thing of it. We can like bring everyone together and we can all go.
And
And
we'll all
then
tit about in a big bus.
But I am so glad you've now seen it, and
Oh,
I'm so
same.
glad you loved it. And now, where there was just one pest in this duo going on about it, there'll be two.
Yeah, you're all gonna be like, we get it, you've seen MJ1.
Good for you. Shut the fuck up.
But honestly, like just what an experience and to have it with you too, that's so special.
And to have it with you and watch your reaction. As I said at the beginning, it's very to see somebody else enjoying it
Yeah.
is just I don't know, I just get so much more excited like when I'm enjoying it with somebody.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh my God, I'm enjoying it because I love this show anyway. But now you're
Yeah.
enjoying it, which makes me enjoy it even more. And I'm enjoying the fact that you're enjoying it.
And also, you know that there's certain songs or elements that, because we know each other, that are going to be special to you. So you're
Yes,
kind of like waiting
like,
on that bit.
well, the beginning of Dirty Diana. So Dirty Diana is mixed within the closet. But
Oh,
before,
don't.
but before she, when the aerialist comes spinning down to the stage from the back of the auditorium, it's to the beat of Dangerous. And the minute it came on, you went, and also when the beginning of The Way You Make Me Feel, they used the intro for You Rock My World,
Yeah.
and I heard you go,
Oh.
oh my God. So I was like, I knew, like, because I know you so well, I know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
your
yeah.
two songs, that was like, when you were, oh my God, I was like, there we go, we've got her. And she's posing, but it's a video.
See what they do to me?
Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Big MJ debate. We are back. Please worry not. We'll be here to make lots of videos all through the cruel winter. I am Char McLachlan.
I'm Pez Jax.
And please, if you have seen the show, if you want to see the show, if you have comments, if you have criticisms, leave them all down below and be sure to follow all our socials too. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks a lot.
Bye. was good.
That was good. Let me just stop that.